Hey, what's up everybody? It's Lids, and we're back for some more Gwent, and today we're playing the new Battle Rush seasonal event, which is an alternate game in which we have just 8 seconds to take our turn and 15 seconds to choose our cards in between rounds. That means it's all about speed, and that's exactly what this deck is designed to do. So let's go give it a look. So today we'll be playing a Northern Realms Mobilization deck that combines Reavers and Knights because they both give us a bunch of points automatically at the end of our turn without requiring a bunch of additional clicks. That means we can play quickly, which is crucial in this event when we have such limited time to take our turn. In general, at the start of the round, is it Reavers that you're going to want to build around in that round, or is it going to be Knights? So when it comes to the Reavers, that is a damage-centric archetype, and so let's start with them. The key card is, of course, the Reaver Hunters, which when we play them in the melee row, as long as we have at least 2 of them on the board, we will damage our opponent's highest powered card every turn, and the more Reavers we have, the more damage that becomes. So if we create a bunch of copies of these guys, then that gives us a ton of additional damage. So they can create a copy of themselves. We can use our leader ability to create an additional copy as well, and we have a few other cards that can create other copies of them too. Idarran actually might be the card we want to play first in the melee row if we are planning to use Reavers, so do that. Then you can also use Boholt to create another copy of them, and he'll get boosted whenever you create a copy of them as well. And then we also have the Reaver Scouts, which can also create another copy of the Reaver Hunters. Now these guys, any of the order abilities, Reaver Scout in particular, tend to take a little bit longer, so just be mindful if you are going to use this on your turn, then you want to make sure you're being extra quick, because otherwise you might find yourself not having enough time to actually play a card from your hand. Those were the key cards for Reavers, but then when it comes to the Knights, the key is ideally to have Damsel in Distress, which is, of course, the Knight's scenario, and whenever we trigger Grace, it'll give us additional boosts on our Knights, and then our Knights. But unlike the Reavers, which are damage-focused, the Knights focus on getting boosts every turn. But once again, the idea is getting points automatically at the end of our turn without requiring any additional clicks. So we can start out with our Squire to boost up one of our other Knights if we play that next. That Knight very well may end up being Reynard, because he will then boost every other card that we play. And then if we get him all the way up to 12 points, then he can boost every boosted ally on the board, which could also be worth a lot of points. Similarly, Maiden Shield, another card we might want to play early, because if we can trigger that Grace and get Bronwyn the Bold on the board, if we boost her all the way up to 5, then we can double the amount of boost that a card receives, which could potentially be quite valuable as well. In terms of other Knights, we also might want to play the Redanian Knight early. This is worth at least 1 point per turn. Once we trigger that Grace, then we can boost adjacent units as well. And also, the Knight Errant, which if you can put it in between 2 units that are already boosted, is 2 points per turn, so that is fantastic in that case. And of course, with Damsel in Distress, not only are we getting boosts from triggering that Grace, we also, when we trigger the last chapter, can get a Mad Charge, which will give us a bigger source of boosts in case we need a little extra push to get one of those Knights up to their Grace number. We do have a couple more Knights. Windhalm, another point-scoring engine, and carryover, potentially, with Vandergrift as well. Those are the 2 primary things that we're trying to do. Either deal damage with Reavers or get boosts with Knights. And for the most part, you pick one and you stick with one for the entirety of a round. But because both of those archetypes are engine-centric, the longer the round goes, the more time we have to either deal damage or get boosted. We have some cards that can make the round go longer with things like Matta or with Thaler, and although we do take up a lot of board space with all those units we're going to have, even if we don't have room to play those cards, because all of our engines are still generating value, that is probably still a trade that we are happy to make. And that, of course, with Matta at least, gives us better consistency with getting Damsel and getting Triss and getting Boholt. Speaking of Triss, when it comes to finishers, use her in the melee row to damage your opponent's biggest row, or in the range row to boost all of your biggest cards, and that is another great way in the range row to set up all of your Grace when you're going the Knight's route. So that's the general idea is, of course, get as many boosts as possible if you're going the Knight's route, get as much damage as possible if you're going the Reaver's route. So lots of options for us to build around. In both cases, you should have plenty of points to outscore your opponents. So let's go see it in action. All right, so going up against Scoia'tael here. And they'll go first. Alright, so this looks like a Knight's round here. Damsel, couple of Knight Errants, Maiden Shield, Temerian Drummer just to help get some boosts. Dawn Banner, I mean, we could still use you for thinning. Thinking we're probably going to wait on Idarran, and we'll save you guys as well. Might not need Triss, so we just keep it as is, I think. And then we'll see if we can go Reavers in a subsequent round. Saskia Commander. Okay, I think we'll start with Damsel, though. We have Reynard. We don't have Reynard, do we? That's a little unfortunate. Would have liked to have had him. But case could be made for either. I'm going to go Squire here, actually. Because then I think that sets up Maiden Shield much more easily. Nature's Rebuke Well, well, I guess that would have answered anyone anyway. Okay, so what if we go, maybe in that case, Temerian Drummer, just so we get some more boosting happening here, because I think otherwise it's going to be a little tough to make that happen. There's Best Boy. Okay, well, they're answering that too. In which case, perhaps we go Maiden Shield now. It has the shield, of course. And it triggers the next round of our scenario, which means if we go Knight Errant next, then we can still trigger that last chapter and get a free special card out here to boost ourselves up. We'll lose the shield, of course, but when we do this, we'll get our Mad Charge, which we can put on you. That means we have a boosted unit there, and technically, I guess we can't put you in between anyway, but we can put this Knight Errant in between you two. And they're going full-out movement, it seems. Let's now go here. They'll pass, and we are both generating a fair number of points per turn, but the question is, who's getting more? Is it them or is it us? And, well, I think we might need to resort to Triss here. And with that, boost ourselves up a little bit further, trigger a whole bunch of Graces. And in doing so, well, fortunately, they have overkill damage there. I think we're still good. I think we're still good here. Because with those boosts from the Knight Errants, we have enough points. So now for this round, we're probably looking to go with the Reavers, and would have liked to have gotten a little bit of thinning to help increase our consistency here, because we only have, well, okay, now we have a lot better setup. Got some of the Knights we were missing before, and those could still be usable. I think Matta at this point gives us Boholt. We did play one more card than our opponent in round 1, though, so I think we'll still dry pass here. They'll go Royal Decree in a throwaway rounds for an abandoned girl. Now, that's kind of odd. I suppose they might have all the other stuff they already need in hand. Okay, and still seeing remnants of our Knights here. Now, we could use Redanian Elite as finisher, but I'm not loving that. And, well, we definitely didn't want the second Dun Banner, as I was saying. Was hoping to have enough time to boost that up. I mean, we could use it as a throwaway to take the hit here. It's not out of the question. Alternatively, we go Matta. Maybe we do this. And get Boholt. And presumably she's going to, yeah, take hit. She'll actually survive. Okay, now they're going leader ability, at least a little bit. And Dryad Matron, okay. So what is our priority? Might still be Reynard first to give ourselves boosts. And then we start setting up all of our unit spawning with Idarran plus Reaver Scouts and use those to create as many hunters as possible. Okay, fine. Sure. That was a luxury, not a necessity. Was boosts, but not our primary damage setup. Of course, Windhalm, similarly, another card we'd like for boosts and would have been something we would have played with the Knights in the previous round, ideally. What do we think that is? We would just try to tank the hit? Maybe we do. Yep. Yeah, obviously he's not going to get boosted anymore, but he's at least going to survive, which is saying something. I suppose we could have thrown away a Dun Banner. Might have been better still, because this second Dun Banner is pretty useless. Even the first Dun Banner at this point is pretty useless. Alright, so now we go and set you up. And let's do this. To give us an extra Reaver. And we would like to get Boholt, although questions, once again, as to what that is. So, I mean, again, technically speaking, if we take our chances on that, maybe we'll take a little bit easy here and do this first. That's probably going to hit... no, that's that Incinerator Trap. Is this going to be the hit everything in a row? Because if so, then that's going to hurt a lot. Yeah, Boholt is getting awkward. Or at least, we would have wanted to have played him early, but yeah, that's what it is. It is the trap that's going to hit everyone in a row. The armor definitely helped a lot, though. We'll use you, create an extra copy of you, except we won't have room for you there. But we'll still set up Boholt, or at least get him further boosted, and if some of these guys do get destroyed, which it seems like they might, then we have more set up there. I mean, if this is going to hit everyone in a row again, then obviously that's going to hit pretty hard, and it will. But we have more of them that we can create here. Let's get you down. Okay, fortunately, that's not really going to do much damage to us, because that was a 4 provision cost unit. And they'll forfeit. So we'll take the win. All right, going up against Syndicate here. And they'll go first. Okay, and let's see. So we have a mixture of Reavers and Knights. Looks like we might actually want to go Reavers round 1 here. So let's dump Redanian Elite. And that's, I mean, potentially set up for Knights later on. Let's dump one of you, though. And Triss could be a finisher if we need it. So it's looking like it'll probably be Idarran first, and then Reaver Scouts and Reaver Hunters and all that. Probably we'll go leader building here as well. Especially because we'd like to... Yeah, like to get rid of this guy quickly if we can, but he's going to get boosted very rapidly. See if they have an answer for Idarran. Usually, Congregate does not run much in the way of control outside of just the Desiree, but that wouldn't be enough to destroy Idarran anyway. So what if we do this, and then we do this? Leader ability, it is aggressive, but it means we immediately benefit from Idarran, which means we immediately start hitting you. Fallen Knight again. Now let's go for you. And I mean, technically speaking, if we want to get super greedy, we could deliberately wait to use these guys so that we get an extra copy with Idarran. It does mean we're missing 1 turn of damage. As you can see, we're already basically filling an entire row, so take your pick. I think now we might be looking at getting some boosts happening. Might even throw... No, we'll go with you. Please give me enough time to place this. You will not allow me enough time to place that. Another risk with this seasonal event. That is why we, for the most part, are running cards that can automatically use abilities at the end of the turn, because that was not even that slow. But just by having an order ability in addition to the card that I wanted to play, that slowed us down significantly. So, now... thinking... as a bit of a finisher, we'll use you. We'll still create a copy of you just so that we have one more unit on the board, 1 more point. And we might pass on our next turn, because if they don't catch us here, which, I mean, that is a decent point slam, but still, after our damage kicks in, we will pass them, forcing them to play 1 more card than us. If they want to win round 1, which means they have to go 2 cards down, and that is a steep price to pay. And these guys are still going to deal damage. And granted, they can't get the death blow, but still... for a second there, I thought we were still going to force them to play another card. They will win round 1, but they do go 2 cards down. And that means they will probably dry pass here, which means Vandergrift is the perfect dry pass, or roll, throwaway card here. And we're probably looking to go more with the Knights here in this round. We do still technically have some setup for Reaver, so we might keep that. Let's see, they are playing? What? Alright, guys, come on. Let's settle down a little bit here, okay? Fallen Knights. Surely you're kidding, right? Guys, I know it's been very popular as of late for people to try to push 2-0, but let's not forget there is such a thing as dry passing, which it does feel like, as of late, has become something a lot of people have forgotten about. There's a reason it exists, for situations just like this, where you're already cards down, and you don't want to risk going even more cards down, because they'll pass here, and rather than being just 1 card down in round 3, means now they're 2 cards down in round 3. Not to mention, we still have that carryover from Vandergrift. We got all of our Reavers on the board in the previous round, so now we're basically pure Knights. And I think we might save Squire for Damsel, so let's dump you back, and okay, we'll get another Knight. So, I mean, this works. We can run with this, so let's go Damsel first, and use this to, I mean, Knight Errant would also be great, but we'll go Squire, just to set up, I guess Reynard probably be the person we'll use that on. Okay, Jacques, I mean, he is big, but with 2-card disadvantage, and us having, what is it? Double last say, or is it just single last say here? I mean, either way, it's going to be really tough for them to pull this off. Okay, there's Cyrus also, very big card. Okay, so they have decent setup here. Thinking we might go Windhalm here, and then we'll put, well, who do we want this on? I guess Windhalm. Yes, would have been nice to have got a Knight Errant out there. It's going to put him in between, but given how we just activated the last chapter of our scenario, might have preferred to have had you first. Okay, you'll hit that, although you can reactivate the shield. Put Knight Errant here. We'll wait before using Reynard. You're 2 points per turn, you're just 1 point per turn, as are you. So lots of cards that take time to fully develop here, because we do have a ton of engines in this deck. So we definitely like long rounds, and it's largely a question of which ones are you prioritizing. Because not everything is going to have the ideal amount of time. And Triss is going to be a little bit suboptimal. Well, not perfect here, just because they have a lot of weak cards. Low base power cards. Because they have a somewhat similar deck to us. In that they are also quite engine-based. Or swarm-based. Swarm plus engines. So, not entirely sure what we're going to want to do with Triss. Hit that row, hit that row. Who are they going for? Well, pretty big. Pretty big. Windhalm makes sense, I suppose. Alright, so we'll put you here then. And then we'll finish with Triss, I suppose we'll go here. And then that does take some time. So we'll activate Reynard as well. And we'll take the win. Alright, going up against Scoia'tael here. And we'll go first. Alright, and key question here is Reavers or Knights in round 1. We have both Damsel and we have Boholt, so we could go either route. I think we'll go Knights, though. Let's drop Squire and maybe summon it out with Damsel there. And, okay, well, we get more Reavers. Alright, so we'll probably lead with Damsel. And use it to get the Squire. And then likely activate that on Maiden Shield. And then we'll get out Knight Errants. It. Okay, yep, well, Nature's Gift makes sense. They're going that route. We don't really have much in the way of control unless we were to go the Reaver's route. So I think we will have to settle here. Okay, Dryad's Caress, give you more vitality and start setting up a whole bunch of Symbiosis. Let's get... We go you first. And then put that down. And it might have been preferable to go Knight Errant, but we will get the early boost on Bronwyn, who, yes, is already at Grace 5, so no, that's, I think, still preferable. Circle of Life. Try to get rid of the shield on Maiden Shield, and they do, but if we do this, then we can do that. Which means this Knight Errant is going to get boosted very, very quickly. And so they realize there's no way they can catch this. This is just way too strong. So our Knights outdid their Symbiosis in round 1. And that was a short round there. We did play one more card than them, but that means we could use Vandergrift as a throwaway in this round and maybe use Redanian Elite for tempo, or maybe try to thin out Dunbanner. Not really sure we have the setup for that, though. So probably gonna stick with this here and just go Point Slam, Redanian Elite, range row on our first turn, and then it's going to be Vandergrift next turn. Also range row, so we don't clog Meteor row, which is going to be a place we want to have a lot of room for all of our Reavers. It's a pretty big card. I mean, I see why you'd want to go after that, but that's really all we are planning to do here in this round. Okay, more Symbiosis. Whether they pass us depends in large part on what this is. Probably going to be enough, though, right? Should be when they get the reset there by 1 point. But yeah, that's okay. We're just playing for the carryover here in round 2. So they'll win round 2 in that case. Alright, at this point, Matta, I'm not even sure what she'd give us. I think possibly Reynard, which is a little awkward timing-wise. We could still hold on to her, though. Dunbanner, can we boost it? It'd be a little bit tough. Thaler, okay, I mean, we can make this round go really long, which is, in theory, something we want, because that means we have more time for the Reaver Hunters to do their thing. So... Or it might be Idarran? There's a chance we'll get Idarran. Let's go Boholt first. It's a little bit risky. They might be able to immediately answer him. Yeah, in fact, tell you what. Let's do this first. Then I'm going to play Boholt and immediately use Mobilization to create additional copies of him. So that Boholt gets boosted in his out of removal range, because they obviously have a lot of specials. And if we had Idarran, then would have been nice to have got him on the board to set up more Reaver Hunters, but I think we're already going to fill a row pretty easily with them, even without him. Aquin can create more of you. Let's put you down. Can create more of you here as well. And this is why we deliberately played Vandergrift in the range row, because there's a lot of room we need these Reaver Hunters to take up. And yes, we'll go Knight Errant next to Boholt. He is boosted, but this was, of course, mostly here for the Knight stuff in the previous round, but we've been there, done that for the most part. Guess we might have wanted to have gone Temerian Drummer to boost one of these other guys up before we did that. Okay, Symbiosis, what's he going to do? That's a big question mark. Lots of boosting with Orb of Insight. When we saw these Elven Seers, that was not too much of a surprise to see that was the direction they were trying to go. So we're almost going to have enough stuff to fill this melee row already with Reavers. I think we're going to need one more to completely fill it beyond just this. So Reaver Scout's going to be worth 1 point eventually. This is also going to be 1 point per turn. So I think either one could make sense. But let's go maybe Temerian Drummer next. There's all of our damage from the Reaver Hunters certainly adding up now. We're going to run pretty low on space here, to the point where this Reaver Scout might not be worth all that much to us. So I think this might be time to play Matta. And this was the idea, was basically wait to play Matta until we already have all of our stuff on the board. So we have more time to benefit from all that damage. And yeah, Reynard to give us additional boosts. We expected might have been the card we'd get here, but it's not all that valuable this late on in the round. Might even go Redanian Elite next to this Knight Errant to turn it into a 2 point per turn engine. Could, of course, make the round go even longer still with Thaler. As we said, Reaver Scout create another spot for these, or another Reaver Hunter. But we are running low on space, so I'm just not sure this is the most efficient use of space. Definitely want to make sure we have room for Triss. We're going to want a melee Triss or a ranged Triss. I mean, if you destroy one of those, it's not a huge deal. Guess we'll put Reynard here. See if we can get him up to Grace 12. I think at this point it's pretty unlikely. Maybe if we were to get Thaler to give us one more turn to power him up, it might be possible, but I kind of still doubt it. So, let's see, is that will fill the row. Yeah, we'll go melee row, which means we get the Zeal. We'll fill you in the melee row, and that means we will draw a card. Again, we're probably going to run out, we are definitely going to run out of space, but the idea here is mostly just more time for the Reaver Hunters to do their thing. If they do destroy stuff, then that's fine, and it's going to be Triss over here, and we're going to boost up this row, and in doing so, that probably will trigger Reynard. So we'll take a long time for this to activate, though, so you gotta be quick. And I think I had enough time to press it, and so they realized how many points that was worth, and they forfeit. Casey didn't catch it there. I think it was 121. All right, so going up against Scoia'tael here, and we'll go first. All right, so need to decide, is it Knights, or is it going to be Reavers here? And it's looking more like Knights in this round. Let's dump Squire. We love Damsel. I mean, that is a Reaver. That's not really enough in and of itself to justify going that route. Okay, so in which case, yeah, we'll start with Reynard. It's really Boholt plus Reaver Hunters plus leader ability was potentially enough in and of itself to go the Reaver route, but possibly not. I mean, Matta will give us Damsel in Distress for what it's worth. I'd like to get engines on the board first, because that means we actually have more time for those engines to do their thing, as long as we still have enough Knights remaining, and I think that may still be the case even after using Windhalm to trigger all those chapters. So we have, what, one... do we have... with Vandergrift, we can get both chapters triggered. So maybe now is the time for Matta. There's Damsel. Okay, Swordmaster. Curious who they go after here. They will get rid of the armor on Windhelm. Could boost him back up, though. But let's get this first. And with it, I mean, Knight Errant is very tempting. So usually I would say I would go for the Squire. But we've already played most of our Knights here that would need that setup, so for that reason I'm going to go Knight Errant. And at the moment it's just getting boosted by 1 per turn, but then we'll put Redanian Knight next to it on our next turn. They might try to go after it. They will. We do that. That will help. And tempted to use our stratagem here, but might wait 1 more turn before doing that. Okay, Swordmaster again. He'll hit Windhalm, making it a little bit harder for us to hit his Grace. But now if we go Dun Banner here, because I want to thin them out, and that will do just that. If we do... Oh, well, it's going to randomly select. That is what I wanted to hit, because then we get a chain effect. Our Grace is activating. Best Boy comes out as well, and we have a pretty big lead here. So I think we will probably either pass here or use Vandergrift for carryover. And that will trigger our last chapter of the scenario. So with this, we can go, I guess Windhelm. So we can put his shield back on, but wasn't quite quick enough on the click. But plenty of points here. They're still playing, which is a little bit silly, because I doubt they can catch us here. They'll use Mastercrafted Spear, but that's definitely not going to be... Oh, they're trying to go after Vandergrift, but we're going to pass here. So we have a big lead, and likely at least some resilience. We'll see if they continue to try to go after Vandergrift, or if they pass here. No, they're still going. Very aggressive. They cannot catch us with that, though. So that was a bold strategy. We're still going to get some boosts from these two. And if we'd clicked that in time, would be getting 2 more points per turn as well. But either way, this is almost certainly a losing situation for them. They should have cut their losses. But they are not doing that. Igni was the idea. Okay, so they're going for the double 16 removal for Igni. Those were our 2 engines, but you still haven't caught us. Can see the justification for it, but I mean, or can see the thought process for it, but it's still not justified. Again, if we had Windhelm activated, would have been no way they would have caught us, but still, look at that. They play every single card and they still can't catch us in round 1. We had way too many points. And we also still have our 6-point Vandergrift on the board, and we have 4-card advantage, so I suppose we might as well push here. Not as much setup anymore for Squire. I mean, we could use it to set up Redanian Knight, but I think we'll look for more Reaver setup here and go that route in this round. Okay, we can make this work, or maybe swap you out. Idarran is definitely more Reaver setup, so let's do that. Unfortunately, our melee row is already a little bit crowded, but we can go... Might even go Boholt next. And then go crazy Reaver spam on our next turn. And then that's probably going to be enough right there. They're just going to forfeit by passing right there. They know there is no way they can catch us. They tried to go all in on round 1 with that Igni play, but it was not going to be enough to catch us, and so we take the win. So there's a look at the Northern Realms Knights and Reavers deck for the new Battle Rush seasonal event. If you liked the video, then make sure to hit the like and subscribe button and leave a comment down below to let me know which other cards, archetypes, and factions we should experiment with next. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you next time.